Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, having been elected to the high office of the President of the Republic of Ghana.
And you're still here on the Joy News channel, Multi TV, on Editors Forum. Now, shortly, we'll be taking a look at the energy aspects of Dr. Bawumia's presentation today. If you're just joining us, what happened was that today, Dr. Bawumia subjected himself to questions at a town hall event organized by Multimedia and Joy News. And the idea was to look at the Akufo-Addo government's achievements over the last 100 days. So Dr. Bawumia himself terms it as 103 achievements in 100 days, with generated a lot of amusement. But let's take a bit about what the government had been doing in terms of the energy sector. And Dr. Bawumia talks about reviewing power agreements.
We have saved the country $300 million by reviewing and prioritizing the existing power purchasing agreement. The $300 million, we've essentially canceled about 20 of them. We've asked 4 of them to go ahead and the rest to delay by 2 or 3 years. And in so doing, we have managed to reduce government's liabilities. We've also secured financing for 2 major electrification projects, the Hunan and China water projects, and this, when implemented, will extend electricity to over 800 communities.
All right, and the other issue he talked about was also about a power purchase agreement. We can hear him on that.
We have, in the energy sector, taken some major decisions, and they are achievements. We have taken as a matter of policy power purchases. Anyone who is coming to produce power in Ghana and says we want a power purchase agreement, we are saying that you cannot charge us more than 10 cents per kilowatt hour. We have capped it. Ghana is paying the highest electricity in West Africa, as far as I know, charges. So we are, because they are charging us 17 cents and 21 cents. In other countries, they are charging them 10 cents. We are saying you cannot charge us more than 10 cents. We've also established a policy to increase the efficiency of VRA by separating its thermal operations from its hydro. And we've also had a major policy because we want to move from the reliance on thermal to the reliance on renewable energy.
All right, so Dr. Bawumia, they're talking about energy. Energy was quite a big issue, I remember, during the campaign, partly because, yes, we'd had a prolonged power crisis, and the Mahama government had taken some steps in an attempt to rectify the situation. In the president's own words, fix the power crisis at the time. So we, signed a lot of these power deals, bringing on Ameri, bringing on the car power and all that.
Lipa, Senate.
Exactly. Then there's also the flip side about attracting independent power producers. So Dr. Bawumia tried to deal with it separately. Now let's talk a bit about those measures in terms of car power and the like. Now he talks about the fact that they're going to review power agreements. And I know the controversial one has been the Ameri power deal. And to be fair to Vice President Bawumia and the MPP, they had criticized the Ameri deal from the get-go, because the feeling that the build, operate, and transfer deal was going to cost us much more than if we outright purchased. Yeah, exactly. So the committee, I can't remember who chaired it, whether it was Philip Addison committee. Yes. So they've done their due diligence, and they've made some proposals, which is for a renegotiation of the deal. So Malik, your thoughts on that?
For me, I think it was also insightful that Dr. Bawumia actually put out information. I didn't know about it. I don't know about you and Raymond, about some 20 agreements. 20 agreements had been cancelled.
Actually, the in their in the early parts of the Akufo-Addo administration, the president had indicated that they were reviewing a certain number.
About 42 of them were being reviewed.
Yes, and that there were some others that were on the table that they were not even really going to immediately look at. They needed to review that and then renege. So those were, so if now they've decided to, you know, take those decisions, I guess that is like an update, which is insightful.
Yeah, so it was quite insightful that in his words, they had saved $300 million on the basis of the cancellation of those power purchase agreements. And the issue about power purchase agreement has been a very long-standing debate about what Ghana is paying for electricity, about how much are we paying, 17 cents per kilowatt hour. We are being told 21 cents. We are being told that the Akosombo is actually generating power at 3 cents per kilowatt hour. So why are these private organizations or private companies generating power and selling to us at 17, 20, 21 cents per kilowatt hour?
Okay,
so
but I'm sure you know the argument about perception that in Ghana we've always paid so cheaply for power that is one of the reasons why we've never been able to attract these IPPs, because it's not profitable for them to be selling us power at the typically low rates that we've been used to buying.
Now, I think the problem with these agreements also is when the agreements then tie us to be those who will supply fuel for the generation of the electricity. Remember that Ameri and Kapa, we have such agreements. Remember the controversy surrounding the investments that were being made by GMPC, because GMPC had to put down some 100 million as guarantee.
And even the levies that we were asked to pay, which would guarantee funding for the purchase of the fuel.
Yeah, so now if the people are going to produce power, you are going to supply the fuel, and they are going to produce power, and they are selling to you at such exorbitant rates. I guess that's where the problem is.
Remember, if you don't supply the fuel, you still pay for the plants and all the rental charges and everything.
So anyway, I guess that's why they raise all of these questions. I am hoping that in the days ahead, they will give us further and better particulars as to which agreements were cancelled, what were the basis for the cancellation,
and what's the cost of it.
What's the cost of it? So that are we going to have judgment debts? Are people going to go to court? And was the cancellation done in accordance with law and with due process in a manner as not to give rise to suits which will lead to judgment debts and all of that? So it will be important to get more facts as to how these cancellations were done, which companies were involved, what were the reason for the cancellation, so that we can be better informed, that all of us can believe that the decisions were properly taken, they were properly guided, they were well reasoned, that there won't be any fears at all. So that we can also be guided that in future, when we are entering into agreements with other companies, we can be guided that these are the kinds of things that would determine whether the agreements stand the test of time or whether they will be cancelled. So I'm hoping that in the days ahead, they will give us those details so that we can be better informed.
But let me allow you to touch on Ameri, because that become quite a controversial issue, not just on social media, but across social and mainstream media, because on Saturday on Newsfile, we had Dr. Dominic Ayine, who was on Newsfile, talking a bit about that, and there's the feeling that irrespective of all the things he says, the government did not do enough to protect the country, and we are paying so much more for it. Bright Simmons of Imani Ghana had tried to, break down the various ties and reflect and show, and lots of people have been responding to that. The current the Addison Committee tells us that we will save $150 million if we are to renegotiate the deal and the like.
No, I mean, the Ameri deal is quite simple, honestly. And I started having problems when I read that Norwegian newspaper story about this deal. If you consider the fact that the company which actually did the work
collected far less than we actually paid.
It's actually taking $360 million for the procurement of the turbines, the installation, the management, the operations for the 5-year period. This is how much they are taking. And we are paying $510 to Ameri. Then it raises a fundamental question, and I think it's a legitimate question. Could we not have gone straight to Metka to supply this thing? If we could have done that, why didn't we? If Metka could procure this on behalf of Ameri and install and manage this for the 5 years at the cost of 360 million, why did Ameri charge us 510 million for what they are paying to Metka 360? I mean, so just do the simple extrapolation that the company which is doing the work, this is Metka.
But Malik, isn't that what the issue is? You come to me to do a job. I subcontract it. Typically, the person you give the job to, if he subcontracts it, he or she makes more.
Great. So, but our problem is the person who gave out the job. How is it that Ameri can get Metka to supply this at this cost that my government couldn't do that? And I guess that's a legitimate question. If Ameri could scout and get Metka to buy this and install it at 360 million, why couldn't my government also get Metka or negotiate better with Ameri and maybe give Ameri 400 million? Then let Ameri go and pay Metka 360, make 40 million as their profit for whatever the arrangements and all of that, so that at least we could have saved some 110 million. Why didn't my government do that? I guess that's the reason a lot of people are getting upset about the whole arrangement, that the information is publicly available. That first of all, we are dealing with General Electric in Ghana here. That our government had access to General Electric, that these pieces of turbines that we bought were publicly available on the market, and that we could have arranged with them. They have funding arrangements that we could have gone into an agreement with them on the basis of those funding arrangements, and they would have come to install this at a far more cheaper and lesser cost. Why didn't we do that? Why did we use a middleman who is making a cool 150 or something million on the basis of an agreement which we could have reached ourselves? And we tell ourselves consistently that we are capable. We have the men, we have the people, we have the engineers, we have the negotiators. My brother Ayine sat on Newsfile and said that he's the best negotiator. If the best negotiator can go and give this amount of money to a middleman, and that middleman can go and get a kind of better deal that they are giving to Ameri, then that raises questions about the reasoning that went into the judgment in the first place.
Raymond, your thoughts on that?
See, when I was very young, Dr. Yao Graham told me about how certain schemes are done in our part of the world. He says, first, you create shortage and create a problem. And the African governments have a way of creating problems. Then create schemes to benefit from the problem. So in this case, electricity shortage was a problem and was a dire situation. We do recall close to 2 years of doom so.
It was
so more than 2 years.
Okay, some say
why being conservative? Why when you wear a red tie, is that what you do?
Okay, so I'm saying
but it was 3.
Yes,
I mean, to be frank.
We create a desperate situation when it was consistent and clear to us that there's a period where we have problems with Akosombo and we always have shortfall in energy supply within the periods you're talking about. We didn't resolve that problem for a very long time.
It's a 7-year cycle,
very
to
good.
be honest.
So we go ahead and create a shortage. Then we say we need to assemble emergency solutions. Then in emergency solution periods, I believe that this Ameri deal, like many others, did not go through the proper scrutiny that the right people should have actually done.
Yeah, because our parliament passed it.
Yes, and when it was even before parliament, there were questions being asked.
Yes,
but
and
I remember
Katie Hammond,
Katie Hammond
raised, and also the now deputy minister for finance, Kweku Kwate, also raised issues. So sometimes the question is about those who are raising the issue and those who have their say and those who have their way.
But they were seen as sidetracking or seeking to delay a very important solution to our energy problem. And then the Ghanaian was even angry that why are you stopping something that's going to give us power? But now we are back to this particular phase. We have to face up because we gave, and truthfully, if you got the chance to actually go through the Ameri deal, it raises a lot of questions. It is way too controversial. You'll be asking, did we really have to go in for this? Because as of the time that the Ameri plant came in, it is not really the main problem. The crux of the problem.
There were things that needed to be done. There was the construction to the center,
another
where,
issue.
which the president's brother
Yes.
had
Engineers-
indicated,
engineers
and planners had
So-
indicated that this was a job really people were not willing to do. There were questions about how much was paid. I hear 30 million or so for the and
That
there are
platform
claims
alone.
and
Platform
there are
alone.
claims that even not all the work had been done. It's hard to tell for now if that is
So
the case.
from day one, there was problem with this particular deal. My only difficulty was, and I was excited when the new government said we have reviewed it and we're going to engage to get 150 million.
And then you got disappointed.
I got disappointed when the team that was supposed to do the engagement also seemed to have been very good and friendly with America to the point that they had their airfare being paid by something.
but-
See, to me,
Okay,
that
have
was a
let me
very
ca-
big low blow.
However, they still came up with a decision that does not favor America. So maybe we give
No,
them
but you
some
see, the
credit.
response
My
to
point
that.
here is that what makes you think that the better decision would have been not canceling this contract?
Absolutely.
We're
And
told
by
that we would
getting the-
suffer judgment debt if we
And
did.
no,
I
how do
think
we
it will
trust
take
the
us.
judgment?
Remember, it will take
No,
us
forgive me,
back
but
to the
yes,
power
I get that.
problem from
But
2000.
How do we trust the judgment of the committee that has taken money and also actually been given? Okay, I don't want to believe the part to do with shopping and other things, but whose airfare were paid by the people that were there to investigate and engage? Who does that? It actually told me that it was not really a very great scheme to get back my money. And that's why I wanted to hear from the vice president.
Isn't it too early? Why don't we give the benefit
Okay,
of
so
the doubt?
Raymond, let me give you an
because,
example.
no,
My
because the
problem was
reason,
that- see, my
because the
problem
reason
was
I'm
that-
raising this issue is if somebody pays for your airfare and all that, and you still come back and say that, well, this deal favored you, and we have to sit and renegotiate it, they could have come back and said there was nothing wrong with the deal. They didn't do
No,
that.
we didn't. There's everything wrong with the deal. No, please. In this country, we're very clear in our mind. All that they needed to do was go get some money for us, and that's what we're discussing.
Jifa.
Because we knew that there was something wrong with the Ameri deal.
How much?
Right from the beginning of this particular
Yeah,
deal.
but
much
the
persons were clear.
but they are saving the amount
So,
to
see,
be saved
the
is
team
the
of
same
people-
150
Philip
million.
Addison-
So haven't
Philip
they
Addison is a
achieved
senior lawyer.
haven't they
His
achieved
colleagues
what
are
they set out to
brilliant
do?
people who have done lots of things in their life. Well, couldn't they have afforded? And you see, if you're going to get 450 million, please, we could have spent just 100,000 taking these people to the place and come back. It's also about the positioning of this particular deal, because now, to me, it sounds to me like we are even being shortchanged with this arrangement we have today.
The
Because-
renegotiation.
Yes, to
but
my
you don't
mind,
have,
I
but
do
you
not
don't have
believe
any
1
proof.
second.
You don't have any proof of that. If
Okay,
anything,
Jifa.
I think the
There is
question.
no proof in the
no,
fact that
no,
people have
I
been
think if
compromised by
anything,
taking
the only
some-
question is, I'm yet to actually hear, or we are yet to hear from Ameri saying that they are open to the renegotiations, when it will happen, how soon,
Jifa.
and the like.
Jifa, you know that perceptions are important.
Symbol,
The appearance of same is even more important. When you tell Ameri that you are going to investigate them, and then they offer to pay your plane ticket and you accept, and they pay your plane ticket and you go and sit with them, how do you look in front of them? What does that communicate to them about your person? It raises a fundamental question about how we do things, because I don't believe that any good judgment went into the decision, because how much money would have been involved?
Okay, Madi, I think that point has been made by Raymond. I think
that-
the fundamental
I think
issue
that-
is what is at the end of the line.
No, that is wrong.
I wanted to-
because
Regardless of what comes at the end of the line, there still lingers in my mind that we could have had a better arrangement and that people were compromised with the engagement.
because I don't want my government officer or anybody appointed by my government to go and sit with anybody negotiating with the person
And they
when that
paid
person
their
doesn't
bills.
have any serious regard for my government's representative. I don't want that happen, especially when I believe that the matter in which they are negotiating is bad for my country, and my government ought to get more.
Okay, Mali, how
And
about looking
they are
at
paying-
do we always have to look at things so negatively? How about looking at it from the other side, that maybe Ameri do acknowledge that, yeah, they did shortchange us.
Then they should bring us
And-
the money.
and-
They don't have to pay the airfare. They should just bring us the money. We can pay our own airfare.
Yes, you have my money. Give me my money. I'm paying me.
We can
What is that?
We can pay our own
I think you
airfare.
guys you are not giving the benefit of, you are only seeing things from one point of view. So
No, this is okay. We don't understand.
Ameri realizes that they've shortchanged us.
Yes.
And want
And they
to
start by paying the airfare.
No, but they want to be open. They want you to come and see what they are ready to sit and negotiate with you. That at least says something about the fact that they acknowledge what maybe many of us because that's in as much as you say or the feeling that everyone is known to everyone that we were probably shortchanged. The team could have come back with a totally different result.
Which would have rejected?
How do you
because,
know?
Because it is so palpable. The evidence is so palpable that it would have been foolhardy for them to have come to any other
tell us that. Oh, it's a very good deal.
and you know, it's. I
think that Ameri realized the folly and in an attempt to repair. That is how
I think
happened.
that we can. I am willing to grant government some commendation, albeit with some hesitation, that they accepted that they took the money, and the information minister admitted that it was an anomaly.
Yeah.
Yes. I heard Mr. Hamid on Super Morning
that
Show
admission for me is an indication of a government which is willing to accept that it erred when it airs, to accept it. So that for me kind of minimizes.
I think the main thing one needs to see is at least hear Ameri say that we're ready to sit and negotiate and when. This is not something because
the vice president tell us the updates.
But I have to raise another question. I don't understand.
Because Ameri has been quiet throughout.
Why are the former government officials fighting tooth and nail over this agreement? Because if you enter into an agreement that the people who succeed you say it was a bad agreement, they can get more. Should you not be helping them to get more? Why are you fighting? Why is anybody?
That is where they say that if you feel they did anything wrong, then take them to court.
It doesn't matter. If the people say that they can get more from Ameri, why are you fighting?
During negotiation, there's no need to go to court.
No, why are you even fighting? What do you lose? If you believe that you did your best and somebody say they can get better, you should wish them well and even help them. Not go on radio and TV and fight them.
No,
I don't get
their
it.
position. You can't take it. Maybe they feel that they did everything above
board. I am entitled
board.
to wonder why they are fighting.
You are wondering. Okay. All right, we just have some 8 minutes. Let's talk about something briefly that was also quite important, and that's the 456 million for one district, one factory. And I think that's been a major campaign theme. And I guess the Vice President took time to try and explain how this works. Let's hear him.
We have also, in the budget, allocated some 456 million Ghana cedis for the One District, One Factory initiative. And this will, at the district level, they will work with the private sector for this initiative to become a reality. A stimulus package, Ghanaian industries which are in distress, we are coming out with a stimulus package, and 220 million Ghana cedis has been allocated to support distressed but viable companies around the country. In this context also, we've intervened. There was a steel company that was collapsing because of tariff issues. They closed down in October 2016 over a dispute over tariffs. We came in and brought the parties together. Within a few weeks, we resolved the problem. They reopened, and we have saved 400 jobs as a result.
All right, so Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, they're talking about One District, One Factory, which many see as, a major project plan, but will happen, I guess, in the mid-term. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm struggling, and right from the commencement of the talk about this particular policy, I just want to know, where is the policy document? Can we all have it? Can we then buy into it from that particular point of view? I have seen some map of specific areas and what's likely to be the
I think
proposed.
This is, yes, I remember there's something like that in terms of the regions and what resources are available.
I want the policy document. I want to know the details. I want to be able to study in my small corner. So if I have a slight appreciation of public policy and how this is going to help, the crux of it is promoting businesses and also promoting, getting people jobs to do. Now, because let's not forget, we've had development projects, and this is one of them, that actually seeks to create jobs that ended up complete failures. right from the Eurodep and to our current SADA and its related programs. So when government seeks to do direct intervention, at a point in time, they say it's supposed to be with private sector ingestion, but this amount of money, what would it then be used for? Creating an environment, putting up the structures first and foremost. So I am still unclear in my mind as to exactly what this one district, one factory is supposed to mean. I hope that we have clarity in a document that everybody can access, everybody can review.
So the question is, are these already maybe existing factories that the government may seek to try and revamp, like the steel factory that was talked about? We all know of Kwalugu Tomato Factory, we know of Japon Textiles, we know of the sugar factory is also still sitting there, hasn't really been worked. So I guess maybe this would probably be a time for the trade minister to give us an outline of maybe over the next, so that we can, next 6 months, by the end of the year, this is what probably we'll be seeing, how many and the like.
I told people from Turkey are buying into it. I am Ghanaian. I'm in Ghana. I want to also buy into it. I want to also explore the opportunities that I'm sure virtually every business in Ghana can also take advantage of.
But there are local people buying into it. We've heard of UMB saying that they were providing some funding to support that. So I think it's also...
Okay, so the UMB funding, is that what is it going into? Because if it's... And that's why I'm asking these questions. The policy.
Why are you treating fascists as the minister of information?
Forgive me, but my difficulty is that I'm struggling to grasp this policy from all the lengths, because on one end, it's private sector together with government that's doing so. I've heard before the government's contributing something small to it. Is this the amount of money we are looking at? How about the UMB money? Is it an additional amount of money? Is it going to set down specific factories and handing over, or the private sector will set up the factory because government has identified the areas they're supposed to set up these factories? I need clarity on this issue so that we don't use it for the usual things we do with policy in this country that becomes a political tool. Later it collapses and we have to now fund process of bringing back to order. Okay. And he talked about existing, what they call it, companies. Who has done the feasibility study on these companies to see that if they were viable during Nkrumah's time and in the 80s or probably even in the 70s, they'll be viable today. They'll be viable and still the raw material base for these companies to actually be developed is there. Now, what are the major growth posts in this country that we need to explore for development? That is where I want us to channel all of our energy so that it spreads to other areas. If every district is going to have a factory of any kind, is it related to the growth posts in that particular district, or there are none at all?
Okay, so let me bring in Malik because we just have 2 more minutes to go.
Well, I share some of Raymond's questions, but I think I had serious problems with this promise from day one about one district, one factory. I guess when I heard that the private sector will be involved, I kind of took a deep sigh of relief, because I'm like, okay, once private sector is involved, then you can trust that the private sector, they won't just throw money at anything for whatever reason. Unless they are convinced that money will come out of it, they won't throw money at anything. So if private sector will lead the way, what the government will be doing is providing the environment and maybe providing some other relevant information that will help private sector in taking their decisions, that's great, because the private sector we know. And this private sector should not be the polypreneurs that we saw under Jida and those ones, those who read green fowls that flew and planted trees that never grew, that didn't grow. Those are not the kind of private sector we are talking about. We are talking about independent-minded, serious-minded private sector.
Business people who really want to, you know.
Absolutely, who have seen opportunities, and government is providing them with incentives that will help them exploit those opportunities and then create a job. I'm all for it.
All right, and Editors Forum, we are wrapping up, but just to acknowledge our sponsors, Kakai Bitters, and it's produced by Kingdom Beverages Limited, which has over 20 years experience in herbal medicine. So there's no doubt about our new Kakai Bitters. It's made up of local and Chinese-based herbal extracts. It's now available in all drinking spots and joints across the country. It's recommended for parties, funerals, weddings, and all other occasions. Party makers can't do without Kakai Bitters, and that's just because it's a great appetizer. It doesn't give any hangovers. It's produced with local and Chinese-based herbs that are very essential for the human body. However, it's not recommended for children below the age of 18. It's also not recommended for pregnant women and women who are breastfeeding. ADB, and ADB provides you a more convenient environment that assures of customer service excellence. It provides an aggressive banking spirit, accountability for esteemed customers, creative banking ideas, and a bank that understands teamwork. ADB offers you the best banking service you would ever desire. ADB, truly agric and more. And Papa's Pizza. Tema, you called and we've answered. Papa's Pizza, your #1 pizza company, is now open for business in Tema Community 4, opposite Chemu Senior High School at the AP filling station, right next to Clean Eats. So just know that if you're in the Tema area, Papa Pizza just can't wait to serve you. Just drop by for an amazing pizza experience. Look out for some of the great deals in their March Madness promos coming soon. You can call 0561 278 676, also 0561 278 679 to order for your favorite pizza. Papa's Pizza, taste it, love it. Holy Black mosquito coils and spray. Holy Black spray effectively kills mosquitoes, cockroaches, houseflies, ants, and other crawling and flying insects that are just giving you a lot of trouble. Also, there's Holy Black mosquito coil, and it's a big and jumbo sized one. It doesn't break easily. And there's Holy Black spray, which leaves a sweet lily fragrance. It leaves the room smelling real nice, and so you can't go into that room without any hesitation. Also, Holy Black mosquito coil and spray. It's free from catarrh, headaches, and chest infections. It gives out less smoke, so you don't have to worry about any of these infections or diseases. Also, you can insist on Holy Black mosquito coil whenever you visit a shop to buy an insecticide spray. Holy Black mosquito coil and spray, the best on the market. And if you want it in bulk purchases, contact 0302 681 582, also 0322 037 623. Holy Black mosquito coils and insecticide spray. Adishare Estates Limited. Adishare Asase Pafie. Adishare Ahoto Nkwa. Adishare assures you of service plots with flexible payment plan and no interest notwithstanding the duration for payment. Adishare Estates has service plots and litigation-free lands where social amenities are readily available at a cool price. The relieving news, if you're looking for land, is that there are no charges on site visits, no extra charges for pillars after full payment, no interest on payment, no charges on indenture with site plan. And this is all provided by Adishare Estates Limited. And they have various site locations, and you can check out their Shire Hills or Kaswa, Kwabenya, Dodowa, Kuntunse, Pram, Amrehia, Damfa, and Abokobi sites, and many more. All the lands are serviced and easy to locate. Their services are buying and sale of properties, land registration and documentation, building and construction, land surveying in any part of Ghana, land for commercial purposes such as farms, and lands in prime areas for your dream house. Also for offices, apartments, supermarkets, banks, etc. And you can call them on 050 740 254. Also on 0303 930 519. They also have a website, www.adishareestates. Adishare is spelled as ADEHYIESTATES.com. The same for their email, adishareestates@gmail.com. Their location, though, if you really want to go there, is adjacent Top Radio at Koko Memle. Adishare Estates, Adishare Pafie, Ahunto Nkwa. And also Givers Herbal Center. They have various products such as Givers Power Capsules. It deals with sexual weakness, low libido, and low sperm count. They also have the Givers Core Capsules, deals with core, waist pains, constipation, and phlegms. Take note that you have to take both of them together. That is the Givers Power Capsules and the Givers Core Capsules together for the best results. Also, Givers Herbal Mixture deals with malaria, typhoid, jaundice, and loss of appetite. Just know that there's a mosquito drawn on the label, and when you buy one, you get one free. Their contact is 0506 851135 and 0543 222 470. Givers Herbal Center products are available in all drugstores nationwide, and for bulk purchases you can also go to the Givers Herbal Center at Teshi Mobile near the corner bar, or Teshi Adome near Champaka Sports. And just know that our 100 Days Reviews is sponsored by ADB Bank, Agric, and more. Papa's Pizza, taste it, love it, at the Share Estate, Asasepafie, Ahuto Nkwa, and Holy Insecticide Spray, Givers Power Capsules, and Kakai Bitters, the new boss. And that's where we draw the curtains on today's edition of Editors Forum. My name is Jifa Bampo. Thanks very much to Malik Abbas Dabo and to Raymond Aqua for joining us.
Nana Adogabwa Akufo-Addo, having been elected to the high office of the President of the Republic of Ghana.